I'm excited. Let's go. Come on. What's going on, everybody? This is Lester from Cannabis Wiki here at the 2019 CanEx Business Conference and Expo. As you can see, legendary moment for Cannabis Wiki to be standing here with Dan Hare.
How you doing, Lester?
I'm doing very well, my friend. How are you?
Outstanding.
Man.
It's a beautiful day here in Jamaica.
It is. So how's the conference been?
Conference has been good. I would like to have seen more of the locals coming out and seeing what this presence is all about. But I think through further education, as time in the next couple of years comes and goes, I think that a broader acceptance and understanding of cannabis will bring them in here and make them more comfortable with something that they're still trying to figure out, and understand.
Exactly. So before we start diving into this,
Yeah.
I want to start at the beginning. Tell the people that may not understand the history of cannabis and yourself and the family.
Wow, the history of cannabis started long before my family. But with my father, for him, it started in 1969 when, at the age of 30, he discovered cannabis.
Right.
Which, prior to that, his understanding of cannabis is that of not unlike most of the world. It is shrouded in misinformation, lies, deception, and suppression, not only of truth, but of people. So when he discovered, after being a military soldier in the 1950s, and always believing that America was the greatest, most honest, most upstanding country that would never lie to its citizens and never deprive them of truth or liberty or their personal liberties. When he found that cannabis was nothing that he had learned, he realized that he needed to educate himself. And through this internal drive of discovery and research, he found that not only was cannabis something that we should all have as individuals through our God-given rights through this plant, but that it had been responsible for the development of virtually every nation, every country on this planet engaged in cannabis commerce, and cannabis travel. And when I say that, I mean that circumnavigating the globe and creating global commerce was created because of cannabis.
Right.
Countries defended their borders with cannabis. And in order to sail a ship, those ships' sails were made from canvas. But canvas is a play on a word of a Greek word, cannabis. So cannabis, canvas, that's the same thing. So, these ships weren't diesel powered. They were powered by flower.
Yeah.
And it's this cannabis flower that has given the world the opportunity to exchange culture, to exchange currency, to exchange ideas, to exchange food and product for millennia. The oldest fibers on this planet are 10,000 years BC. Yeah. So the history of cannabis is long before my father. But his anger and sadness that a government that he believed in had deceived him sort of lit a fire, not just in him, but under him.
Right.
And that fire really pushed him into a political realm that I don't think that he saw for himself as a young man.
Right.
But he knew that as an adult, free thinking and understanding truth, that a great deception had been perpetrated not just upon Americans, but amongst us as humanity.
Right.
And throughout the 70s and throughout the 80s, my father's research led him to write a book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. This book outlined everything that most people knew in their hearts to be right and true.
Right.
But they didn't have anything that documented and showed in tangible proof that their ideas and their beliefs were not just something that they can think, but something that they can see and touch and feel and know that those feelings were solidified by the words and the images and the documentation within this book.
Right.
And that book then as it was printed, it gave people the ability to stand up, to find their voice in their state, in their community, in their country, and demand the access to this plant that had always been humans' rights,
Right.
in order to propagate around this globe for everything from clothing to housing to food to medicine to recreation, and dispel the falsehoods and the lies that have persecuted and imprisoned millions
Yeah. Exactly.
around the globe, devastated lives, in order to subvert the truth from understanding. It has been taken from our histories, and this book gave that history back to us. And through that book and its inspiration to those who read it and those who shared it and those who found their voice, have created the opportunities that you see here in Jamaica, that you see in Spain, that you see in the United States, that you see in Malaysia now,
Right.
that cannabis is no longer constrained by the box of lies, and the truth that has been hidden inside
The
is
walls are
now
coming
out.
down.
Unfortunately, at the same time that the truth is coming out, the powers that put it in this box are still trying to control the narrative of cannabis being potentially dangerous, and it should be held away from children, and it should be monitored and restricted and,
Right.
and controlled, because it is the most disruptive, not destructive plant. It is the most disruptive technology ever known to mankind, because everything that we do today in this world of synthetic fibers and products that destroy our environment